Semi-final against Italy tomorrow evening, which you can of course hear live right here on talkSPORT. The Lionesses came through an incredible quarter-final against Sweden on penalties. England defender Alex Greenwood has been speaking to talkSPORT's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk ahead of that semi, and she was asked what sort of test they're expecting tomorrow.
I've watched a lot of Italy. I watched them against Norway. I think they're a really good team. I think they try and play football the right way, very physical, can be direct when needs to be. It's by no means going to be an easy game. They're playing for pride for their country. They're creating their own history right now as well. I'm expecting a really physical game, a tactical battle. They've got some individuals who are really, really good, which we've highlighted, so I expect a really tough game.
All right, let's get more and look ahead to tomorrow's massive game, as we are joined by our England correspondent, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, is out there. Courtney, are we over that penalty yet? I mean, those penalties, I just feel like with England and penalties, your heart just can't take it, can it? But are we over it yet?
Yeah, it's... well, hopefully just about. I think it's something obviously that the girls sort of need to get from their memory for sure. I think it's one of those where it's such high drama, but if we're being honest, for both sides it was such a poor penalty shootout. So yeah, I think it's something we certainly need to put behind us and look forward to Italy tomorrow.
Courtney, I was away on holiday watching the game with my daughter in the villa we were in.
Oh, look at you, not a one-bedroom.
It was a
Airbnb villa.
Well, Courtney, watching Sweden in that first half, I couldn't believe how many problems they were causing us. Was that England being bullied a little bit, or was it Sweden were a very good side, especially that first half?
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest, Gabby, and I've said it sort of throughout the tournament and in the last few days as well. I think when you look at the tournament as a whole, we struggled against France, very good side. We struggled against Sweden, a very good side. And if we're being honest, sort of Wales and Netherlands just weren't up to that same quality. So I think when we've come up against that tougher side, it's been really difficult. I think back to a save that Hannah Hampton made from Rolfer just at the end of the first half.
Yes.
And if that's 3-0, I think it's game over. So yeah, they were very good. I think they bullied us. They were a lot quicker to the ball in the first and the second phase, Sweden. But I think one thing that they struggled to do is to keep up with that sort of tempo. And you saw, in the second half, they went further and further back. They invited the press. I think there were some poor decisions from the manager as well in terms of time the substitutes and taking a player like Aslani off with so much quality, even when there's 15 minutes left and you think you're 2-0 up. But I think England, they're still going to bring something. Did I expect the drama that we got? Probably not. But I think there were some poor decisions, both sort of on and off the pitch from Sweden. So I think Italy, they're going to be a really tough test, and we've got to be on our A game.
One thing we do know that Sarina Wiegman has is strength off the bench, right? A lot of strength off the bench. Michelle Adjeman, who's now been sort of titled the agent of chaos. Is there an argument? Look, some players are better off the bench, right? Because they're fresher, they can sort of see what's going on and they can impact it straight away. But is there an argument, Courtney, that she starts tomorrow? Bear in mind what we did see from off the bench.
I don't think so. I think you're right. She's the sort of player at the moment with the age that she is, where she makes an impact. She comes on, as you say, she's an agent of chaos. She brings something, quite different to the rest of the squad. Now, for her to start, I don't think you drop Alessia Russo, because actually I think she's had a good tournament in terms she's had a lack of service, but the way that she's been linking the play, she's been dropping in, she's still been doing the right things. So for Michelle Adjeman to play, I think then you need to change the formation, which for me personally, I don't see Sarina Wiegman doing. The big one that I want to see from the start is Chloe Kelly, because every time she's come on, she's influenced the game. Obviously, she's got that big game energy. She's influenced the game against the Swede. Two, exceptional crosses. So one obviously will go down assist, the other one won't because there was a touch before it. So I think Chloe Kelly for me is the big one that has to start. Michelle Adjeman, I don't think she'll start, but for me I do maybe want to see more of an impact from her in terms of, not from her personally, I think she's been brilliant, but in terms of Sarina Wiegman giving her more time on the pitch. Hopefully it doesn't, and it's more of an easier game, because for my heart rate, and as Sarina Wiegman after the game as well, for heart rate, I think we'd all like it to be an easier game. But I think Italy, they bring a lot in terms of, we're talking about the players that they've got. They're very organised, sort of a typical Italy team in terms of being defensively organised, but actually they've got pace and quality up top, and Girelli as well. I think she could cause us a problem because she's great in the air, and I think that's something, obviously without Millie Bright we are missing a little bit, that aerial presence in the box. So it's going to be a really tough game for the Lionesses.
I think as well, when you look at that chance that Alessia Russo had, that come, didn't it, from some counter-attack play. Adjeman looking at Alessia Russo, and I was jumping up had that chance, I was thinking, you have to score. Normally she puts that away, doesn't she, Russo?
Yeah, and I do wonder if maybe there is a little bit of a lack of confidence, but I think the best thing about Alessia Russo is if she does miss a chance, that isn't what her whole game is defined by.
Yes.
I mean, and you're right, Gabby, normally 9 times out of 10 she puts them away, but what I love about her is if she does miss a chance, she's not the type of striker that goes missing. She doesn't, some strikers hide, they don't run for the ball, they don't want to be involved in the play, where Alessia Russo is
Courtney.
the type of forward that Tash Dowie? No, I'm joking. She's away. No, I'm joking. But no, she's the type of player that will still influence the play. She'll come in the way that she holds the ball up. So yeah, I'm not massively worried, and I still think that Alessia Russo has to start. I'm not as worried to say as she's missed that opportunity, so we need to get Michelle Agerman starting, instead of her. I don't think that's the case at all.
Leah Williamson trained today. Obviously, look, there were nerves. Her limping off against Sweden. If she's training, she's probably starting. That's a big boost for England.
Yeah, it's a massive boost, and the way she was sort of limping through the flash zone after the game, I was looking at it thinking, she's going to have to, her and the doctors and the physio is going to have to do some work to get her back fit. But yeah, training looking good. There's no strapping that we could see on the ankle, so I think that's a real positive, and not just one as a player, but obviously as a leader. And I think the back line has been an issue for England. There's no doubt about that. We can't get away from it. So if we were to take, Leah out that back line, I think it would cause us more problems than we've already had. So it's great to see her in training.
Courtney, finally, very quickly, I have to end on this. Jess Carlton, what she's been through. She's been subject to racist abuse throughout the tournament. She's come off social media. I think England collectively said they're going to stop taking the knee. Players still go through this. In this day and age, players are still going through this. And Jess Carter to get this much abuse, it's horrible to see.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful, and it affected us all as media when we were there and heard it yesterday. And you can tell, because it's such a close-knit camp. Obviously Jess, the first thought is about Jess and her, but in terms of the whole camp, and I'm including the staff in that, you can see how much it affected them because they're such a close-knit group. And you're right, you think in 2025 we shouldn't be going through this, but again, it's almost a shock not surprised in terms of there are some vile people. Yes, it's a minority, hopefully a lot of the time, but again, that doesn't help Jess. And there's been conversations about social media and should be players be on social media, but it doesn't matter whether she's on social media within a tournament or not. At the end of the day, even if she wasn't on social media, at the end of the tournament, she would have opened her Instagram and still seen all the vile abuse that she's getting. So, it's sad in this day and age that we are where we are, but I like, in terms of the response that was very strong from the Lionesses, from the FA, obviously even Keir Starmer has mentioned it as well. So it's something that I think we really need to look at, and I'm looking at the social media companies. It's far too easy to have these faceless accounts and to be able to give that amount of abuse from behind a keyboard. So I think, obviously, with the police and with social media and with their companies, I hope that it's something that we can find justice with. But unfortunately, we've seen, months, years, week after week that this keeps happening, and there doesn't seem to be a solution.
Courtney, well said. Thank you very much.
Courtney. Appreciate
Sweetman-Kirk, who's out there in Switzerland following the Lionesses, fingers crossed, in that game tomorrow.
The same people who've been celebrating Aguiman's goal.
Yeah. It would be the same that are giving her abuse as well. All right, that was all thanks to McDonald's.